live.
We're living on a disk, floating through space, with a tiny sun.
Hey, I'm FTFE and welcome back to the channel that fits stupidity with its very own pair of concrete shoes. We are back with another Flat Earth debate, but tonight it's not me, it is the only real person in the room, PhD Tony, taking on Mario Wilson, who you may have seen recently debating me. That was fun. Before we get started, there's been a trend in my comments section lately, which I would like to address. I have had hundreds of DERF fans, David Weiss, coming to me saying that they want me to debate David Weiss, and I'm too scared to debate David Weiss. He's got his Bitcoin challenge. Why don't I go on his podcast? Because simply he won't let me. He refuses to speak to me. He refuses to let me even enter his Bitcoin challenge. So I've also been asked by his subscribers, because apparently I'm lying about this, to specifically call out David Weiss. So I'm going to do that right now. DERF, David Weiss, I accept your Bitcoin challenge. I would like to come onto your podcast and present my evidence to collect my winnings. You said that this is open to everybody, and I am accepting the challenge. So, David Weiss, I challenge you to let me onto your podcast so that I can complete your Bitcoin challenge. I believe that you're currently giving away 3 Bitcoins, which I think Bitcoin's going for about $36,000 each at the moment, so you're probably going to owe me, around about $100,000 if you are brave enough to let me on your channel, which I know you're not going to be. But this is for all your fans, DERF, that constantly come to me and say, "Oh, you're too scared to debate David Weiss." No, I'm not. He's too scared to go anywhere near me. And that's the truth. But anyway, let's get on with tonight. We have a fantastic debate. Thank you to everybody who has shown up. Please share the stream and we will get this out to a wider audience. But let's get started. We have 2 great debaters tonight. We have Mario Wilson and PhD Tony. Mario, would just like to take 2 minutes and introduce yourself to our audience.
Well, I'm Mario Wilson. Y'all probably know me from the last debate with Fight the Flat Earth. And to address the beginning of that, Fight the Flat Earth, I think David Weiss don't want to debate you because you're anti-Flat Earth. I think he might want to debate a globe believer. It is a difference between the two. Anti-Flat Earth is somebody who basically will say anything to just basically discredit.
No, I'm a globe earther. I just happen to debunk the globe earth. It's not that. Trust me. He's just scared.
I'm just saying that might be his assumption, but I see a lot of that going on. I see a lot of anti-flat earthers. And it's flat earther, I don't really correlate too much with that term because the earth just happened to be flat because obviously the horizon is 100% level at all times, 100% flat horizontal. So we never see no other type of horizon in existence. So obviously the earth is just happened to be flat. Like, that's what I'm saying. I'm like just a true earther. If it was triangle, we'll be telling you it's a triangle right now. But it just happened to be flat. Yeah, I guess that's whoever created the earth wanted it to be that shape. But anyway, that being said, I'm just here to talk about, like, and we can talk about today about these arguments is not gonna work on a globe. It's not gonna be like a straw man argument where, like, let's say day and night work on both models. No, I mean, when I debated Fight the Flat Earth, we kind of talked about a couple things that can work on both models, but today we're strictly going to worry about only flat Earth model. This is only can work on one model, just so we won't be in an infinite straw man arguing both, because like I say, we both can be right. In some people's perspective, we argue about stuff that work on both models, so we can cut the debate a little more, direct today.
All right. Thank you, Mario. And debating on the side of the globe is the only real person in the room, PhD Tony. Tony, thank you very much for joining once again. Would you just like to introduce yourself for anybody who hasn't seen you before?
Hi, for anybody who doesn't know who I am, I'm a professional geophysicist from Australia with an expertise in geodesy and studying Earth's gravitational field. And I have my own channel. A lot of people are surprised to learn that I have a channel, actually, but I do. And it's famed for its quality as ASMR because I don't yell at people or do any of the weird stuff over there. I just present the science in as boring a way as possible. And if you need some sleep, you should go there and definitely watch some videos. But if you're lucky, you may learn something. So.
Well, thank you once again for joining, Tony. It's always a pleasure to have a real boy on the channel. So yes, I'm gonna attempt to moderate tonight, but you guys know who I am. I will try and keep out of things.
Like y'all actually gonna probably need to work together because I do have like probably stuff that's not been seen before.
Well, Tony is more than capable of handling himself, and I would very much like to see you two go back and forward. But let's get on with let's get on with the 10 minutes intros. So, Mario, do you want to start your 10 minutes? And we'll get on with this.
I'll go first.
Yeah, on you go.
Well, I don't know if I can I screen share? Let me see if I can share a screen real quick.
Yeah, you should be able to share screen.
You can see my screen?
Yeah, it just says your name right now. You haven't shared your screen. If you click on the green share screen button at the bottom.
Hold up, let me see. Yeah. And the first I'm present first, it's gonna be a photo that's been observed from the equator, quote unquote equator of the globe Earth.
Yeah, well, you're not presenting it yet.
Let me see. If I can, I probably can describe it anyway, because it's pretty much gonna be. Hold up, yeah, it's letting me screen share.
Well, if you're able to send me the picture and I can show it for you.
Hold up.
You could just send it to me on Messenger quickly, and I'll bring it up for everybody.
Okay, I'm finna send it to you on Messenger. Then it is faster.
Okay, no worries. Your 10 minutes to start once we've got this up, so that's the easiest way to do
it.
Okay. Just waiting for that to come through from Mario. While that's going on, I just want to say thank you to everybody who has turned up to watch, as always. It's you guys being here that makes this possible, and I love every one of you for it. All right, here we go.
I sent it to you, bro.
Yeah, I'm downloading that now.
Well, that first picture I just sent, Fight the Flat Earth, we can see a phenomenon. We see the stars rotating in two different directions. We see like it's like a little, I don't know what to really call it, but what in reality on the globe we supposed to see all the stars going east from any perspective. But on the phenomenon we see at the equator, quote unquote, we see stars moving in two different directions, which is impossible from any observation on a spinning body. All supposed to be moving in the same direction, no matter where you're at. So this is one thing that absolutely doesn't work in the globe model, because first of all, the Earth's supposed to be rotating and it's supposed to be going around the sun. So I don't even think we should see one going in the circle one time. I think we're supposed to be seeing stars do whatever they want because they all independent bodies. But what we see is two different rotations in opposite directions on a flat Earth, obviously. How we explain this? Well, the dome is called concave. Obviously, it's a concave reflection. Reverse concave reflections are in reverse. So what we be seeing is the stars mirroring themselves. And that's the only thing we can say, because we can't do no other tests. But obviously the gold model will be incorrect because it say all stars should be going east, which is not happening here. You can rebuttal that if you want to.
Well, you present the rest of your argument, and then Tony can present his.
Okay. Well, this one, we're going to do one. Two, let's go two. What we see on this Earth, we see a horizon that is rising to our eye level, which doesn't match a concave surface. All concave surface is supposed to be lower than the observer, not higher. I don't care how big the ball is, it can be the size of Jupiter. We would still see the horizon lower than when we look out. We're not supposed to even see the horizon. We have to look down to see it on any size ball. So what we see is a horizon that rises to the observer, which will only work on guess it will work on a concave surface, but not a convex surface. It'll only work on a concave surface or a flat plane where you will see what a horizon will actually rise to the observer's eye level. Even on the ground, we're supposed to see the horizon 72 inches, if you're 6 feet, I think, below your eye level, about 72 inches below your eye level. But we don't see that. The horizon rises actually all the way up. And we can see it in 360 degrees, kind of like we inside of a plate. Like, and what's the third one? Well, we also have me and Fight the Flat Earth actually talked about it before. It's the conservation of momentum. That's supposed to be on spinning objects. So the conservation of momentum on a globe would be everything is moving east with the rotation. So that means we don't have free roam on the surface, obviously. So right now we have free roam, kind of like we walking in an enclosed entrapment, but a rotating globe actually, all our momentum will be conserved from spinning. So before I can move, I first have to use the energy that's dragging me. So let's say if I wanted to travel west, I will first have to subtract the spin of the Earth before I can even move my own momentum. So let's say if I wanted to go 500 miles per hour, I would start off at negative 1,000 at the equator. Then I would add my speed, which would still have me moving at negative 500. So I think me and Fight the Flat Earth touched on that one, but I want to get more into that with you since you're a PhD scientist. I want to see your perspective on it, because we don't experience a moving object in any way. So I want to see your perspective on it, actually.
Okay, is that everything for you?
Yeah, that's everything. That's just the three that just work on a flat Earth. It's probably
Okay.
some more, but them the three that I thought of.
All right, that's excellent. Thank you very much for that evidence. So we will go over to Tony now and let Tony present his evidence for the shape of the Earth. Go ahead, Tony, over to you.
Okay, just give me a second. I've just got to export this into PDF, and then I'll say, then I'll save. I'll share my screen. So, sorry, this is a triumph of technical ineptitude. Okay, where's the share screen? Oh, there it is. Okay, just a second. I need to open it first. Sorry, this is gripping YouTube for everybody.
That's okay.
Okay. All right. So let's. All right. Let's try that again. Share screen. Yep. Here we go. All right, so we're going to start with sound waves. Okay, we can use sound waves to investigate stuff that we can't actually physically see. So, for instance, we use sound waves to investigate babies, and we can do so accurately that we can detect whether or not there are birth defects or medical problems. We can even live image their heart rate using sound waves. But we also use sound waves in industry. For instance, we can try and detect whether or not there are flaws inside steel by passing a sound wave through it. Now, on the left-hand side, that's flawless steel. You've got the spike at the outer surface and a spike from the inner surface. As the sound wave goes through, bounces back to the receiver, okay? And if there's a flaw, you'll get what's on the right. You'll get a partial reflection from the crack inside the steel, and then you'll get a weaker reflection from the farther side. So, you can use sound waves to determine a flaw. We can use sound waves to locate how far away something is. So we can use sonar or ultrasonic images, and we can do it in a number of ways. We can have a separate transmitter and receiver, or we can have a receiver. Basically, what we're doing is we're sending out a sound wave, we're measuring how long it takes to get back to us, and we're using that to work out where the object might be. Now, that's the same technique that bats use and dolphins use in order to find their prey. They make little clicks, and they time how long it comes back. And with this technique is accurate enough. This technique is accurate enough that we can make very accurate prediction. We can make very, very accurate images of stuff on the ocean, stuff on the floor of the ocean. Now, why am I talking about sound waves? We use sound waves in industry to find minerals, right? We can't see where minerals are, where there's oil, where there's metal, where there's coal, where there's gas. We cannot see that. So we've got to work out what is underneath the Earth's surface. And one of the ways we do that is using sound waves by doing what's called a seismic survey. So we send, in this case, there's a seismic source, which is that vibro-sized truck, and it sends sound waves into the ground, and it gets picked up by that receiver over there. And by analyzing these, we can detect structures inside the Earth, and we can use these to locate where mineral deposits might be and where there may be problems. Now, you may not have noticed, but this is a flat model, right? If you look at this, this is flat. So in order to do these mineral exploration things, we use flat Earth seismic models. And they're very sophisticated and they're quite accurate over short distances. They're accurate over short distances, but they don't work over long distances. Now, in order to get an accurate picture of a place, we will do multiple seismic tracks, and we'll try and build up a three-dimensional structure, an image of the three-dimensional structure. But it doesn't work when you get up to the scale of earthquakes. When you get up to the scale of hundreds of kilometers to thousands of kilometers as the waves move around, these flat earth models don't work anymore. They stop being accurate. This is a picture of every registered seismic station on the face of the earth. This is every seismic station, permanent seismic station that is currently being operated that measures the arrival times of earthquakes. Now, each of those seismic stations may have multiple receivers. For instance, here's one in Australia that has, there's that cluster down in the bottom left. This is the Warramunga seismic station, and it's got two arms. There's one going north and there's one going east. That's so that we can work out very precisely where the earthquake is coming from, which direction the seismic energy is coming into the station. So even with one station, we can do some actual reasonable analysis. There are two broad classes of earthquake waves, seismic waves. There's the compressional wave or the pressure wave, which is a pushing wave. So it pushes, compresses, and it keeps on going like that. That's the top one. And the S wave is a shear wave, which shakes backwards and forwards. So it's like a snake wave, okay? And they travel at different speeds. And we can use that. So if there's an earthquake and we've got three seismic stations shown here, then the gap between the P wave arrival and the S wave arrival tells us how far away from the earthquake we are. So we can work out where the earthquake is fairly quickly. And once we've done that, we can then make a really amazing prediction, okay? We can then predict the arrival times for every other station. For every other station, we can predict the order in which the seismic waves are going to arrive. And these are all different classes of seismic waves. And this is the distance. Now, this distance is a function of latitude and longitude. But the point is, if I know the distance, say it's 120 degrees, then I just go up here, and this is the order in which the seismic waves are going to arrive. This is the order. So this is a prediction. This is something I can test, and this is something that is reliable. And it's not 100% accurate, but it is accurate enough to be very, very useful. But this is a spherical model. It's the only one that works, right? There is no other model that can explain seismic arrival times as observed. There's just none. Now, there is a particular class of seismic wave called a Rayleigh wave. And it's very interesting because it has an interesting properties. It goes around the world multiple times. So to illustrate that, if you've got an earthquake here and a receiver there, you can see this red line. That's the Rayleigh wave. It's going around the surface. And there's another wave coming around the back. So this is R1 in this original diagram. This is R1 right here. It didn't take very long to get to the receiver at all. That's R1. This other one over here, that's R2. That's the one that's going the other way around the world. Okay, so, it's going to go, they're going to split up, they're going to travel, they're going to meet up again at the far side of they're going to meet up again at the far side from the earthquake, and then they're going to travel. And this Rayleigh wave is going to come from the other side. It's going to come from the back of the seismic station. And then they're going to go, and they're still going to go around. Then this is R3. So that was R2. That was this direction. And that's R3. That's that direction. So you can see this is R1. This was the first one. That's R2. That's the one that came around the back. That's R3, and you can see here R4. That's the one that's gone the other way and around the world again. Now, that doesn't happen on a flat Earth. It can't. There's no way it can happen that way if the Earth is flat. So
Got 3
I
minutes
don't
left, Tony.
care about him. Pardon? Yeah, so that's the end of my presentation.
Okay,
but basically, that's how I would go about proving that the Earth simply cannot be a flat body. It's impossible.
Okay. Right, so let me get the screen back up. My vmix appears to have frozen. 1 sec. There we go. Right, so that was the intros from the... stop it, stupid thing keeps switching. That was the intros from the 2 debaters. I hope you guys were paying attention and taking notes. There will be a test at the end. What we'll do now is we will first let Tony rebut any of the points that Mario brought up. And then Mario can then rebut the points that Tony brought up, and then there could just be an open discussion. So, I mean, if you two want to discuss the rebuttal points as you go along, it's not just exclusively for Tony, but let's have the first part being Tony rebutting the points that Mario brought up. So, over to you guys. Have fun.
Okay, so let's take them in reverse order. You having to overcome the rotation of the Earth in order to move westwards.
Yes.
Motion is the motion is relative, right? So you have
Relative
your
to what?
motion is well to something. So, for instance, there's a computer.
We
There's
already established we on the Earth. That's the first reference. Then you the second reference. We only got 2.
Yes, but
references.
well, actually, you can pick your coordinate system to be whatever, so you can change reference systems. But the point is that the Earth is rotating with you. So there's a camera in front of you, right?
Right.
That camera is rotating with you. So in order to move away from the camera, you do not have to move faster than the Earth. You only have to move faster than the camera, right? You don't have to.
The problem is, you said we both moving together correctly. So that's the whole point. I'm no longer gonna be moving with the Earth. I'm moving against it. Like, let's say if you're on a treadmill and you both moving in the same direction, isn't it easier to go one direction than the next?
Relative to what? I mean, this is the
treadmill.
Treadmill,
like you just put it like a big merry-go-round. If it was
So
spinning
if
one
I-
way or the second way, you saying I would be free moving across the surface
Okay.
like it's relative? No, I wouldn't.
Have you ever been on a plane?
But a plane is moving in a straight line. We talking about uniform circular motion. Why is you comparing a spin to a straight line? A plane is moving straight. Of course, it's gonna be moving.
No, planes.
Straight. They're gonna
Okay,
have.
can you walk in a plane? Can people walk through planes while they're ascending or
A
descending?
plane
Because
is
they're
going
not
straight.
moving in
Yes,
straight.
of course.
They're not moving when they're
talking
accelerating. Planes accelerate while they're taking off, right? They
Yes, you
need to
can
get up
feel
to air. Yes, but can you still move around the cabin while that's happening?
Yes, we ain't saying you can't move on a ball.
Okay,
we
so
talking about what you feel it. Yes, what you notice.
Okay.
It, yes.
No, you wouldn't. So
Yes, you
the
would.
accuracy. Okay, you're making an assertion here, and I'm about to explain why that assertion
I can
is
prove
incorrect.
my assertion by using
Right,
a
right.
treadmill
No,
like a
Right,
reference.
Mario,
Can you-
let Tony
can you-
explain his reasoning,
can you
and then you can
perhaps-
respond, all right?
Okay, so the sensory apparatus that we use to detect acceleration is called the vestibular system. And there is a minimum level below which the vestibular system will not register motion, will not register acceleration. So accelerations can be too small. For instance, I'm in a swivel chair. If somebody were to swivel my chair one rotation in 24 hours, and I had to sit here with my eyes closed, I would not feel it, right? My body is not sensitive enough to detect very, very small accelerations. and you can calculate the as though the total acceleration that you're. Yes, small acceleration. So as long as I'm accelerating very slowly. No, we don't. We can calculate how much acceleration you're undergoing.
1 to 1,000 isn't a lot. 0 to 1,000 miles per hour.
So the acceleration that you are currently undergoing is a result of Earth's rotation, because the 1,000 miles an hour
what acceleration
is the acceleration that is a component. You understand that for circular motion
you're begging the question right now, man. First of all, you're making anti-flat earth arguments like we trying to prove that the earth is spinning, not prove that it's not. You saying the earth is us and move us and the earth is moving together is not a way to prove that the earth is spinning.
Okay,
for instance, that's an anti-flat earth argument. And that's also not what Coriolis effect said. We would definitely notice spin. So obviously we have anti-flat earth arguments here.
I just finished explaining. So can you see electrons?
No.
Okay, so how do you know electrons exist?
Nobody does. It's still theorized. It's a theory.
Okay, reach over and turn off your computer if you don't think that electrons exist, because you are using scientific theory.
You just made a word for something that exists. I can call it something else. I could say elect bonds. You know what I'm saying? Like, you just made a word for something that exists. That doesn't mean that it doesn't exist. You're just trying to understand it more. What I'm saying is, of course, electrons, something exists. But it don't have to be electrons. What we're trying to do is prove that the globe exists, not other stuff. If you leave other stuff in question, that's why you gotta, when you're doing an experiment, you gotta vary the outcome so you can make sure what you're saying is causing it. Instead of that, if I'm trying to convict somebody of a crime and they got blood on their hands, I gotta make sure it's the blood of the victim that got killed. I can't. The earth. What's like? The pendulum, for instance. Let's say how we know this earth spin causing the pendulum. Did you vary that? Did you do other stuff to make sure? Like, it's no way to prove that the earth is spinning. That's my whole point. And you're actually on my side now because you made an anti-flat earth argument.
Yes, there are. So I started off explaining to you why what you sense isn't accurate. Right.
So
instead of responding,
we're gonna say that.
Can you please let me finish a sentence?
Go ahead, bro. It ain't that serious, man.
Okay. Shit. Well, I am here trying to educate you.
You are failing terribly.
Yes, I understand, because you aren't shutting up for more than 2 seconds.
You haven't made sense yet. You still haven't proved anything. This whole debate, I'm arguing with an anti-flat earther. That's why, I came here to debate somebody who actually want to debate, not anti-flat earthers, man. You know what I'm saying? You're an anti-flat earther. I'm literally wasting my time. You're making flat earth arguments. Oh, we wouldn't feel the spin of the earth. Then that's my argument. That's the flat earth people argument. There's no way to prove spin. Like, what are we gonna sit here and talk about now?
Okay, well, if you shut up for 30 seconds, I would be able. If you shut up for 30 seconds, you would learn, right? This is why you're in the situation that you're in. This is why you're in the situation that you're in.
And what is that?
Being publicly humiliated as a flat earther on a YouTube channel.
Come on, man! You got to sound wave. You came here to debate sound waves against a dude that just told you to start spinning 2 directions at the equator, and you still haven't even got to that.
Yeah,
I know you might bring sound waves. You literally bring sound waves.
Okay, do you want to? Do you want to? See,
I'm gonna debate sound waves. Come on, man, this can't be serious, bro.
All right. Mario, you need to let him talk, dude. All right, it's not a debate.
It's a debate. Fight the flat earth, like this is just debate, man.
Mario, please just be quiet and let Tony make his point.
No,
all right?
Go ahead, bro. Go ahead.
So we can prove rotation of the Earth in multiple ways. For instance, we can put liquid helium into a toroid. That motion will only be induced in the toroid if it is undergoing motion. We keep the toroid stationary with respect to the Earth's surface. We detect motion in the helium. That can only be occurring if there's rotation. We can use ring lasers to detect deviations in the drift. We can use a mechanical gyroscope to detect rotation. We can electromagnetically support a plastic ball with a red dot in it and look at the ball spin during the day. That can only happen because of rotation. We've got multiple experiments that are better than, well, I don't feel it. You don't feel electrons. There's a shit ton of stuff that you don't perceive. Your perceptions are not the defining boundaries of human knowledge. And given that you're using a piece of equipment that you have no understanding of whatsoever, you might have the humility to accept that there's stuff that you don't understand and learn, instead of flapping your gums all the fucking time.
All right. So basically, even one of your weird scientists, Einstein, and goofballs y'all call smart, even he said there's no optical. So I guess you smarter than him. No, even he admitted there's no optical experiment.
I didn't say there was optical evidence. You say you are lying.
Can I finish what I'm saying?
Lying.
Shut up,
You're
man.
lying.
Be quiet. You're gonna have a heart attack. I know you don't eat health. You're gonna die. Stop before you kill yourself. You're stressing.
Right. Okay. Guys, stop, please.
Can I finish talking or what? I triggered the anti-flat earth instantly. As soon as I started talking, it triggered the anti-flat earth.
Let's stop. So Mario, you just said.
Can I finish talking?
Yeah. Let me just clarify. So you've just said that Einstein said that there's no optical experiment that can detect the motion of the Earth.
Exactly.
Is that right? Yeah. But just to clarify, Tony didn't talk about an optical experiment. Not one of the things he said was an optical experiment.
A ring gyro is optical. You have to see that.
No, it isn't.
No.
Yes, you do. How else you gonna know? You gonna hear it? You's retarded, man. So how do you know what the results if you can't see them?
So it's
optical means sight.
Yes, optical means sight. So no,
anything you can see,
you determine it from the interference patterns.
So where's your ring gyro to prove it's spinning? Where's your ring gyro?
Gyro.
I don't have a ring gyroscope.
Okay, then so now you don't have proof unless you have a ring gyro, I guess. The only way to prove the spin, guys, is some magical ring gyro some weirdo made in the science lab. That's the only way to prove the spin, I guess. Okay, we can move to the next thing. Let's go to the next point. We ain't got to. I guess this. Hey, y'all want to prove the spin of the Earth? Get a magical ring gyro.
Well, you can watch image of a flat earther using a ring gyroscope. I'm sure.
Thanks, Bob.
I'm sure Craig has that on hand.
Yeah.
Let's go to the second point, man. We ain't gonna get nowhere.
Rotation every 24 hours. So that means that every hour it has to turn 15 degrees. And if the gyroscope is mounted anywhere on Earth, it's going to drift. In today's 21st century navigation systems, they're using what's called a ring laser.
Look at all this CGI.
It's extremely precise. If
he's a flat earther.
One of these ring laser gyroscopes, we'd be able to prove once and for all that there is no rotation to the Earth. One of the people in the community actually purchased one for $20,000.
Look at that cool magic.
Turned on the gyroscope, we found that we were picking up a drift.
A 15 degree per hour drift.
So if I jump, that means if a helicopter is flying, that means the Earth should drift 15 degrees up under the helicopter.
No.
Why not?
No, because the helicopter is moving with the atmosphere, and the atmosphere is rotating at the same speed as the Earth.
So you saying the atmosphere is spinning east right now? So all storms coming in from the east, all weather coming from the east, the wind coming from the east, everything coming from the east. No. Wind, storms, the atmosphere, clouds, everything moving in a direction.
What do you do? What do you do for a living, Mario?
It doesn't matter. I'm entrepreneur. Oh, my bad. It doesn't matter, man. What you worry about that for?
Yes, it does. Because
what you do for a living? You pay for free education.
I'm a professional.
You pay for information that's online right now.
You asked me a question. You asked me a question. Do you want me to answer it, or do you want to?
You said you're a PhD science physicist. I understood you.
Yes.
That don't
so
mean,
why'd you ask the question?
Like a Mickey D's worker. Like, what difference does it make?
It makes a difference because you constantly say stuff like, I expect this to happen. It doesn't happen,
yes,
therefore that isn't true.
No, it's actually,
but you're wrong.
I'm talking
you're
about physics,
just
bro.
Wrong.
We talking about physics.
And when somebody with more knowledge
and you have
of
no
physics
way to
tells
prove your physics. That's what I'm saying.
Yes, I do.
You're a pseudoscientist.
All right, let's not just go there, guys. Right. So, how about we move forward onto the next point then? Because obviously,
okay. So,
Tony. First of all, I apologize to you. Right, wait, hold on. First of all, Tony, I apologize to you. The next thing that Mario brought up was the fact that he said on a globe there can't be counter-rotating stars.
Right.
Do you want to respond to that? Right, so, Mario, can you let Tony respond for a minute without interrupting, okay?
So the image that you showed doesn't show stars that aren't doesn't show stars that aren't rotating to from the east towards the west. All of those stars are rotating westwards, but they have arcs.
Mario, I asked you to not interrupt. Mario, I asked you to not interrupt. Mario, will you stop talking and let Tony respond? All right?
He a lie. I'm gonna say he a lie. I don't want to.
No. You be quiet. Well, Mario, I will have to mute you if you do not let Tony at least finish what he's saying.
Anti-flat earther.
I am an anti-flat earther because it's fucking retarded. Now, please be quiet and let Tony rebut your point. Okay? Sorry, Tony. On you go. Are you rage quit?
So the circles, what you're observing there, are actually divergences away from the equator. I think that he rage quit.
Yeah, he's ran away. He ran away because he called you a liar and then ran away. Well, that was a pretty good rage quit there, Tony. What did we do? What was that? 43 minutes? 42 minutes, and you managed to get him to rage quit by rebutting his point by saying, no, you're actually wrong, and starting to explain it, and then he just ran away.
Yes.
That's
it frustrates me when when I'm trying to explain something to somebody who obviously has a very clear misunderstanding of reality, and they won't shut up long enough, and then they lie by saying stuff like Einstein said that you can't use ring laser gyroscopes.
Yeah,
that is an absolutely idiotic misinterpretation of what Einstein said.
He said you can't use an optical experiment, i.e. you can't just look at the stars or look at the ground and determine that the Earth is moving. That was what he was on about. That's why you use other methods like superphase fluid and magnetic resonance and rotating balls and extremely accurate mechanical gyros and ring laser gyros and Coriolis machines and stuff. There's so many things that aren't an optical experiment. But oh my god, when he started doing his intro, Tony, and the first thing he did was bring up that picture about counter-rotating stars, which is something that is literally impossible if the Earth is flat.
Yes.
Like, this is something I use as an argument against the flat Earth, and he comes in and says that this is against, and then did you get what he was saying about the aeroplanes? Right.
Sort of. Yeah.
He thinks that say an airplane takes off and is going the same way as the rotation of the Earth, then conservation of momentum doesn't matter. But if it's going to go the opposite to the rotation of the Earth, that means it's first got to counter that 1,000 miles an hour conservation of momentum and then start its own movement. He doesn't understand that it's still rotating with the Earth, just now slightly slower because it's going the opposite direction. Like he thinks that you have to, to turn around, you would have to have a force that's countering that 1,000 miles an hour first.
Yeah. It's just motion relative to stuff, and the stuff is, everything around you is rotating with you. It's
like he doesn't understand about like weather patterns. Like the atmosphere is rotating with the Earth, but within that whole rotation, there's bits of air that are moving around relatively individually, like a storm system. But that storm system, even though it's got its own path, is still rotating with the Earth, like everything else.
Yes. Well, Phil Bell brings up an interesting point, that Einstein didn't have the benefit of satellites. Yes.
No, he did not.
If you take optical images from satellites, yes. I think he was talking about optical experiments from Earth's surface.
Yeah.
But, yeah. And by the way, good to see you, Phil Bell.
Yes, Phil.
Sorry, I wasn't watching the chat.
Now,
sorry, I wasn't watching the chat for this.
I've got a question. Do you think he was drunk with all the belching?
Yeah. I don't know what was going on with the belching. To be brutally honest,
and the lack of wearing a shirt. In fact, I did do a poll.
I think the lack of wearing a shirt is.
The poll said, should Tony take off his shirt as well so it's an even playing field? And 66% said that yes, you should have taken off your shirt as well.
There are international weapons treaties that forbid that level of pale bloatedness from being displayed on YouTube.
Like, it's like, when you get blinded from a nuclear explosion, the light that you see from that, the light that would be reflected off of Tony's pale chest is worse. It would instantly short out all cameras across the planet. So, but I'm sorry about that, Tony. I guess you're never going to speak to me again now.
That's okay. I'll forgive you. I was hoping that he would at least sort of listen, but
oh God, no. No, I debated him like a week ago, and he literally didn't shut up the whole time. It was insane how much he didn't shut up, and he's just got his ideas, and they're not going to go. No matter what you fucking say to him, because we'll have a conversation, I'll explain something to him, and then he'd just repeat what he said at the start again, as though he's not listened to that entire explanation.
Yes, it's a useful skill for preserving your belief system from contrary evidence. I was actually quite happy with my presentation. I thought my presentation worked reasonably well, Pat.
But his response to it was, "You brought sound waves, man."
Yeah. Well, I demonstrated. Yeah, that's why I was talking about ultrasound and ultrasonic distance measuring and sonar, etc., because we well understand sound waves.
Yeah. Oh my God, I'm sorry. Flat earthers they are getting dumber. I'm sure that they're getting dumber. It's like their arguments have been distilled down over the past 5 years to just pure dumb. Like there's nothing coherent about anything that they say. Like someone in the chat just now, Dr. Peel, who said, "Can you not find a flat earther who's capable of holding a debate and giving a coherent argument?" No, they don't exist.
Certainly the average IQ of flat earthers has dropped sharply with the defection of Ranty.
Yeah. He was holding them up.
He was supporting them. They're also. I was watching Conspiracy Cat's new video yesterday, it was quite interesting to see Nathan Oakley. He is deeply psychologically unwell.
100%. Of course he is. When I went on his channel,
he really needs some therapy.
Yeah. when I went on his channel, he threatened I was there for 37 minutes, and he said he'd put his balls in my mouth 42 times. That's more than once a minute.
Yeah.
That's just wrong.
Yes. Yeah. It is. It's he's a deeply unethical individual. But also just
Ranty described him to me because he said he'd met him in person, and you only see kind of like you're seeing of me and you right now from like the chest up. But apparently, when you see him stand up, those weebles wobble but they don't fall down.
Yeah.
Yeah. Apparently, he's like that. He's got like a bigger ass than Nicki Minaj.
Okay.
And he literally wobbles when he walks.
Well, that's a so there's a word I can introduce you to, steatopygia.
Steatopygia. What's that?
Steatopygia, Statopygia. It is the condition of having excess fat around the buttocks and thighs. Excessive fat around the. You probably didn't know that there was a word for that, but
no,
now
I do like to learn something new every day, so that's always good.
So there you go.
Right, well, what I'm going to do, guys, is we're going to read the super chats and we're going to get out of here. I believe that Team Skeptic is having a Whiskey Wednesday on a Friday today, so I'm going to be heading over there and we'll have a brief chat about this as well. But Tony, thank you very much for coming on and being intelligent and ruining an idiot's day. That's always fun.
Yes, well, thank you very much. What a way to start the day.
Yeah. Right, Sigma Step for $5 says, I want an FTFE flag and a pillow. The flag, actually, from the intro, that's a good idea. But the pillows will be going on sale very, very soon. This was just the prototype model. There's been corrections made to make the ice wall a bit bigger. And they're going to be going on sale on Etsy. There's a guy that specifically makes pillows. He does it for like Warcraft and stuff. Warhammer, 40,000. And he's making my FTFE pillows on Etsy. As soon as they're ready to go into production, we'll get a link to those. The guy making them is going to be getting 85% of the profit, and I'll be getting 15 because I'm not making them. He is. But yeah, you'll be able to get your own FTFE pillow. Nathan Thompson for $10 Australian says, let's go, Tony, bring home another gold for Australia. Yeah, Australia are doing pretty damn well in the Olympics, eh?
Well, yes. I mean, I think actually that Australians are excessively fixated with winning rather than sort of doing well. But yeah, we seem to be doing quite well. But I kind of think that it's unfair for the country. It's the athletes. It's the individuals who are winning. Yeah. It's not really the country that they come from.
But I mean, I suppose it's an indictment of the Australia helping athletes do what they do and stuff. Maybe that's a bigger thing over there, because I think if you look at the populace of the country to the amount of medals, Australia are at the top. Obviously, China are going to win because there's like 1,000 of them to every one of us. So of course they're going to get the most medals. Yeah. But when you look at the actual populace compared to the amount of medals, I think Australia are definitely at the top. With probably Britain in second place after that. Did you see the British cycling team getting wiped out by the Dutch?
I did not see that. Oh my word!
Yeah,
that's actually a bit of a
on the indoor track, and
shock.
No one's. They're like, that looks like it was on purpose, because the Dutch rider literally just plows into the back of the English guy, takes the whole team out. He was the last one up, and then gets up and starts shouting at him, even though he ran into the back of him. And there's been this real kind of rivalry between the Dutch and the Great British cycling team. So that was like, controversy. I'm not really into sports, but I do enjoy the Olympics. Did you know that when the Olympics were originally done, 2,000-3,000 years ago, all the athletes had to be naked?
Yes, I did know that.
Wouldn't that have made wrestling a bit awkward?
Well, there was an event called Pancration, and in order to win the Pancration, your opponent had to survive until the end of the games. If you died ahead of time, you didn't get your wreath.
Well, you put it on a dead body. Fog Repair Ship Akashi $5 says, moving to my volcano shelter, preparing for flying projectiles of red hot rage and scientific facts. It's confirmed Krackatony is about to erupt. Yeah, I did think you would get a bit frustrated, Tony, because he didn't shut up. I think you held it together well. I would have shouted a lot sooner. Alison $2 says, release the Tony. What was that, sorry?
Yes, there's a... I just, you know, I wanted to come in and I wanted to hold my tongue, but he just, it was that thing where he just wouldn't shut up, and he kept on, and like he was gish galloping away from the point I was making. Like, your vestibular system isn't accurate enough, we can work out how much acceleration you're undergoing as a result of rotation, and it's too small to be detected. You don't get to turn that round and say, well, we don't detect it, therefore it doesn't exist. You don't detect it, therefore it's too small to be detected. That's what you can say.
Here's one thing you never got to with him, is that he doesn't understand the difference between acceleration and velocity.
No, he doesn't. And he assumes, you know, the assumption that you're going from, you know, 1 mile an hour to 1,000 miles an hour. No, that's never happening. You know. Anyway. Yes, Jacob. Well spotted. I'm wearing a Conspiracy Cats hoodie. It's cold here.
Cats conspiracy. It's not cold. It's Australia. It never gets cold. Cygnus that $5 says, calling it now. PhD Tony rage quits by 8:30. No, he made the other guy rage quit. Fog Repair Ship Akashi $2. Add this to my FTFE facepalm pillow pre-order. I will do a community post and stuff when they go on production, and it will be soon, guys. And when I hit my 50k, which hopefully is going to be soon, the sub count kind of slowed down recently, but it's peaks and troughs in YouTube, so that doesn't matter. But once I hit 50k, I will be giving away 20 of these bad boys during the live stream.
Nice.
Eon Dust for $5 Australian says, I'm going to be honest, Tony's intelligence is kind of sexy. Is that a sapiosexual? If you find intelligence sexual.
Yes, sapiosexual is the term.
I married a woman who I consider to be quite intelligent. You know, we can have conversations back and forth, and I don't feel like I have to explain basic shit. You know, she is a pretty smart woman, and in many, many ways, it's way smarter than me. In fact, I'd be dead right now if she wasn't my wife, basically. And
right.
I don't think that I could have a relationship with a low intelligence person. I just don't think I could do it.
Yeah.
And I'm glad that there are other low intelligence people, because, you know, that means that they can have love. But I honestly don't think that I could find a stupid person attractive. Is that a normal thing?
That's a normal thing. I have to. I think that you need somebody you can have a conversation with, who is going to sort of be stimulating to be around. Otherwise, you know, you're going to end up kind of bored and resentful. Anyway,
I've been with my wife for nearly 20 years, and we can still just sit down and have a conversation for an hour, you know. And you know, she's my best friend, and I could not be with a stupid person. Anyway, Quinlan 1977 €5 says, "Do math, Mario, not meth." Tim Tully for Tim Tully, who I saw your message about my mental health, and that was extremely kind words. Thank you. Says Tony may injure himself from face palming. You know what? Get one of these face palm protection. Canamo Driscoll $4.99. Thank you very much. Draco Fire, my youngest subscriber. For 500 Japanese yen, says, if electrons are just a theory, lightning and electricity can't exist, and neither can the computers, phones we are all watching this with. What a moron. Yeah. One thing that always amazes me, Tony, is that the flat earthers quote Nikola Tesla on a lot of stuff, right? First off, he wasn't a flat earther.
Yeah.
You know, he talked about the globe a lot.
No.
But secondly, he didn't believe in electrons, did he?
No.
Which amazes me, considering he was working with electricity.
Yeah, he was a very interesting individual. Let's put it that way.
I
but you know, to some extent, Maxwell kind of, you know, when we think of electricity passing down wires, that's not how James Clerk Maxwell thought of it. He thought of it in terms of the waves that were guiding, you know, which extended many, many meters either side of the wires that were guiding the electromotive force down the wire. So
that's one thing people don't realize about when you look at your, you know, your electric wires and stuff going around the countryside. There's not electrons shooting through there. That's not how it works. There's the waves that are moving. You know, the electrons themselves don't actually move that much through the wires. It's the wave that carries the energy.
Yes.
I always find that quite interesting to think that there's not actually that much movement within those wires.
Yeah, and it's you know, it's the you know, it's the and the, you know, there's the two ways. There's the electric wave and there's the magnetic wave that's accompanying it. And you know, it's sort of mind blowing when you look at it in that way. I can see why, you know, people went down the path of relativity, because once your mind's been blown once, blowing it a few more times doesn't really do any more.
So one thing I've been looking, I read a paper recently about electron pressure within electrical wires, which causes the electrons in wires to, you know, push away from each other and sit around the outside of the wires. So my question is, why aren't wires hollow? Wouldn't that save a lot of material? Because the inside of the wires isn't being used by the electrons. So why is it there?
Well, you know, you kind of need enough material to have, you kind of need enough conductor with free electrons. You can't really convince so you need a particular massive conductor in order to, because you need a certain amount of electrons.
Stuff as well.
You know, electrons don't exist independently. You know, you can't just say, okay, well, we'll get rid of the material matrix and we'll just have the electrons sitting there. So you've got to have unfortunately you've got to have your veg along with your meat. That's one of the sad realities.
Eon Dust for $5 says, release the Tony. Oh, he was definitely released. Signa Step for $5 says, it would be funny if Craig put Tony on mute and chastised him for interrupting. Tony really doesn't need to take this seriously. Yeah, guys, again, when you look at the titles and stuff, in fact, I actually forgot to do it in the title of this one, I will change it now. You notice that the word debate has quotation marks around it because we don't take this seriously. This is entertainment for Tony and I. We are masochists and we enjoy hurting ourselves for some reason.
Are you not entertained?
Yeah, are you not entertained? Syed Ahmed 499 says, Tony, here are my evidences for the globe. Mario, burp. Yeah, that was pretty much it. Fog Repair Ship Akashi $2 says, and Krackatony has erupted. That was quick. It's understandable, though, when your opponent does not shut the fuck up. And Nathan, yes, I did see you there in the chat. Large bodies of water do curve. Just look at the measurements. Philosopher King Gaming for $2. I'd say that's a record if you start at the discussion. Yeah, I'm going to have to check how long the debate actually was before I think he might have beaten my record there. Robeeb $10 says, Tony wins again. Almost $100 speed run. Draco Fire for 500 Japanese yen. That was a record rage quit note. It's definitely up there. Definitely up there. Dr. Mantis Toboggan for $2 New Zealand says, Mario proves globe, then runs from scary answers. That could be the actual title of this debate. I may do that. Traveler's Check for $5 not sure what that is, but thank you. Can Tony explain the Helium Experiment a little more? Looks interesting.
So yeah, so liquid helium doesn't have any viscosity, so it's not going to respond to any frictional force that's applied to it. So it's a superfluid. So the only way to get it to move is to actually move the object that the helium is in. But if you keep that toroid stationary with respect to the Earth, you still can detect movement within it. So you know, you basically, cut off circulation in the object, and then you open it again, and you detect the motion inside the object. And if there's motion, you can work out what the rotation is. This is one of, I came across this on MC Toon's channel. So if you go to MC Toon's website, you'll be able to sort of find the original paper and the discussion.
MCToon.net.
Mike 71, it is in it too. Yeah.
Right, thanks for that. Kirk B, $5 says, PhD Tony, I lost that. Crushed the Flerf flat. You are awesome, Tony. He is, you're right. That's why he is my spirit animal. Yeah. And my Patronus as well, actually. Every time I conjure him up, he's like, I was fucking busy, Craig. Flosspin Gaming $2 says, I'm so happy Krackatony is catching on. Yeah, there will be a Krackatony emoji, I think. Alison for $2 Australian says, there is no flat earthers, just globe deniers. No, just fucking idiots. Caucasian Sensation for $5. One huge problem I have with counter-rotating stars argument is that open camera shutter is going to pick up meteor showers, satellites, and airplanes. Yeah, but if you're a flat earther, you've got to figure out how the meteors get through the dome, I guess, because that always confuses me. Truth Nerds for €2 says, so you're saying that Oakley is pear-shaped? According to Ranty, pretty much. Ashmaker for $5 says, I would love to meet you two and grovel at your feet. You're both gods of flat earth murder. Well done today, Tony. Well, I'd only get half a grovel because I'm not a real person. Tony being the only real person here to get the full grovel, of course. But thank you. Yes, and Tony did well.
It is traditional.
Yeah. DK, £4.49. I hope you're both in good health. Keep up the debates. Thank you. You too. Urza the Mango for $2.79 Canadian dollars says, he is smarter since he doesn't wear glasses. Ah, that's right. When I debated him last week, he said that he's smarter than me because he wears glasses and I don't. Sorry, the other way around. Because I wear glasses and he doesn't. Yeah. Yeah, so wearing glasses is apparently a sign that you're less intelligent. Why did all the nerds in my school wear glasses?
Well, presumably because they read enough that... there's probably also a fashion element to it, but they probably read enough to work out that their eyes weren't great.
Yeah, exactly. I reckon if Mario went to an optician and said, read these letters, I don't know what the squiggly lines are, or somehow managed to get him to read the thing, it would realise that he has bad eyesight, it's just he's never actually read before. Pivot Croy for €5 says, da-da-da-da-da-da, back in the pipe, Mario, game over, Krackatony knocked your lives to 0. Yeah, that was a worse defeat for Mario than the time Bowser killed him. And last super chat, we got Paul Reed for $10 said, is he going to show? This is going to be fun. Paul, you missed it, dude. It happened. Tony made him run away quite quickly. It was impressive. He went, no, that's not right. And Mario said, you're lying. I'm not staying here to be lied to. Bye then, dumbass. But
Jeff Roberts is confused by the I'm the only real person thing.
Well,
I'm not the only real person.
Yeah, well, you're the only real person in this stream. Tony has a PhD. And as we all know, you're not a real person unless you have a PhD. I'm like, I'm like 1/5 of a person maybe. I've got 2 bachelors of science, so I'm like 1/5 of a person. Then you've got people like Geir Streiber, who's got his master's, heading for his PhD. He's like 3/4 of a person, but you're not actually a person unless you've got a PhD, and I don't. So
And Vesta Freya, who has, I think, 2 PhDs or 2 masters and a PhD, something like that.
So they're like 2 people.
Yeah.
Another super chat we got. Aggressor for $5 says, thank you, Tony. For now on, I'll refer to my drag car as Steta. How do you say that word again?
Steatopygus.
Steatopygus, yes.
Steatopygus.
Thank you, Tony. For now on, I'll refer to my drag car as Steatopygus. All right, thank you very much, guys. I'm pretty sure Team's having a stream at some point tonight. So look out for that. But that has been everything from me tonight. Thank you again, Tony, for coming on. If you want to find more of Tony, please go and check out his channel. I will make sure it's in the description. Hope you guys enjoyed the dumpster fire. I'll be back in the next few days with the next episode of Flerfs Are Idiots. And then I've got another debate on Monday. between T-jump and breaking down the wall of lies. So we'll see you for that. Remember, stupidity is not a right. Fight the flat earth.
Fight the flat, 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 fight the flat.